Hi, this is Kate Nunsuch, and I'm going to demonstrate a way of helping students learn to spell words that I call the Blackboard in your mind. And this is how I would work with a student to do it. I'm going to leave some blanks here. You could imagine that you were spelling the word out back to me, or that the learner is, whichever you like. So here's a word that I see that the learner is working on how to spell. Weather was a word that maybe was on the pre-test of the spelling lesson that she didn't get. Maybe it was in the writing that she wanted to do yesterday. So I would sit down with her and start by asking her, so look at this word. What's the word? She'll say weather. And then I'll ask her to spell it out for me while she's looking at this, while she's looking at the word. And now I'll ask you to imagine you've got a blackboard in your mind. So close your eyes or look at the ceiling and think about that blackboard or the whiteboard that's in your mind. Is it a whiteboard? What kind of a border does it have around? I want you to look at that whiteboard and see it all blank there and gleaming with nothing on it. Okay? Now, pick a pen, pick a color that you're going to use to write on that whiteboard with. And I'm going to ask you to, keeping your eyes closed still, write weather on that blackboard or that whiteboard that's in your mind, whichever you've got. So you write weather. You can't quite remember how to spell it? Well, have a look here again. Okay? Close your eyes and get that word weather up on your board again. I'm going to cover this one up. Okay. So just read the letters off the whiteboard in your mind. Weather. Okay, good. Now, when you look at that board and you look at that word weather, how many letters are in it? Just count them. Great. What's the first letter? And what are the last two letters? Great. Have you got any letters there that stick up above the line? Any tall letters? Right, there's two of them. Okay, what are they? Have you got any letters that dangle down below the line? No, nothing there that dangles down below the line. Okay, could you spell weather again? Just read those letters off the board for me. What are the first three letters? And what are the last two letters? And what are those two tall letters in the middle? You got it. Can you spell weather again for me, please? Just read it off the blackboard. You don't even need to think about how to spell it. Just look on the blackboard and there it is. Great. Okay, now, do you see any small words in there, in that big word weather? Right, you got eat in there. Could you spell the eat for me? Another small word in there. Her, you can see her on the end. Okay, spell that her for me. Any other small words there? You're right, you got the. So let's hear you spell the. Do you see where it sits there right in the middle of weather? Now, could you spell weather again for me, right from beginning to end? And one more time. Good. Now, whenever you need to write weather in your writing, or when they're on a spelling test, whenever you need to find that word weather, it's right there sitting on that whiteboard in your mind. All you have to do is close your eyes, look up at that whiteboard, and you're going to see weather right there. Great. Spell it one more time for me. Okay. So that is what I call the blackboard or the whiteboard in your mind. You can see I use those terms interchangeably. It really works best for students who are strongly visual, but as you can see there's a lot of repetition and you might say some kinesthetic looking at where the words are and how they fit together. Does not work well for people who are auditory learners, but great for visual learners.